Yes.
How's everybody doing this evening?
We are doing wonderful, and I'm just so excited to share with everyone tonight. Just the mentor that I enjoyed listening to, learning from, and I'm just grateful for this opportunity to interview you. And so we're going to get into the questions. I know that you have an exciting announcement to share with the community, but most of all, it's just great when you're in the presence of a community builder. And so, uh, for our first question, I just want to know, and I know that the people will benefit from, is what was your deciding moment? What was that moment or experience that made you realize life insurance is about protection and not funerals? Because you are the protection first champion.
Well, absolutely. Thanks for that question, Erica. And also, I really appreciate your introduction. I am always excited to talk about this subject because this subject is all about life, as far as I'm concerned. I've had my life insurance license for over 25 years, but I didn't get it because I wanted to sell life insurance. You know, I was introduced to the senior market, working with the seniors and helping them understand the Medicare process. And that was where my interest was. It was not in life insurance. But after a few life events, I went looking for answers, uh, having a couple of family members that were close to me to suffer strokes and seeing the kind of devastation that happens after a chronic or critical illness. I thought, man, I could be next in line. So I wanted answers. So I went looking for answers for myself and my family. And that's when I realized that so much was wrapped up in life insurance.
Well, I can certainly relate to that. Um, not initially looking for it, but realizing once you tapped into it that it was so much more. My next question is, why do you believe that the insurance conversation has just been framed incorrectly for so long, where we find out about it much, much later? Instead of introduced to it right away, why it's not a part of our everyday language.
Well, I think it's been an evolving subject. There was a time when a lot of people could not get life insurance. It just wasn't offered in their community or whatever the case may be. And then as things are introduced to a community, a lot of times they're introduced from a marketing point of view rather than from a community point of view or from a building point of view. And so as uh, as the information evolves, as the communities evolve and mature and get educated and so on, then the demand is there for better. But a lot of that is also stymied by the fact that if you don't know what you don't know what to ask for sometimes, you know. And so we end up going around in circles longer than we should, way longer than we need to. So it's an evolution type thing.
That is so true. Now, I recognize you to be one of the champions for protection first. In fact, you really spearhead the mission that we have here at OIC 10K with our beliefs and other OIC 10K leaders and business partners. We have heard that call in your vision for protection first. Can you break that down for us? And what does a protection first mindset mean in real life for families?
Well, along with my life insurance license for life and health, I also have one for uh, property and casualty. So I've had to deal with commercial insurance, and I come to realize how important protection is as a part of life. It's like, you know, it doesn't matter how great a business person you are, how great service you can provide. if you don't have protection against any kind of damage you could cause or any kind of liability that you could cause to happen to someone else, you will not be able to do your great work or make the money or do business, because companies realize that great plans are wonderful, but they can be destroyed in a minute with an accident or something like that. So the world has decided protection is first. And that's why you can't get a car with a car note without having your car insurance. That's why you can't get the keys for your home without having homeowners insurance. You're not going to get that mortgage without it. And so you cannot get onto this big company with this big contract to make all this money if you don't have liability insurance, because good intentions is not good enough to stop accidents, illnesses, just life. Therefore, if you want to protect what you are building, well, then you protect it once you build it. And in many cases, you protect it before you build it.
I can certainly understand that and get that with transferring the risk. But when it comes to life insurance, how does the role of an insurance agent in your eyes differ from a traditional salesperson?
Well, I believe that the insurance person has a fiduciary responsibility to do the right thing. You know, a lot of most salespeople don't necessarily need to have a license, but an insurance person does. And there's a great responsibility that comes along with that license, because people are very vulnerable when they're talking to us. People are depending on us to help them with solutions that is going to determine, and in many cases, it can be a life and death situation. Um, because once you build what you build in, and then you protect what you build in, there are different perils of life that comes up. And now the decision you made a few months ago or a year ago could be the difference between keeping your home and not keeping your home. You know, having funds that you need for your family to continue without you, or with you in a very uh, ill position, or dealing with severe illness or something like that. So these it's not like buying cookies or hot dogs. These decisions many times are life decisions, and so it's just different. It's very different. It's not sales as usual.
Yes, I being in the industry now and first encountering the industry, sometimes in some communities have pushbacks. And I know that you are certainly one of the founding leaders in OIC 10K. You push for protection first, but you also bring yourself as a community builder. And now I want to change and switch the focus to that community aspect, and just right out the gate ask you what problem in your community push you to become such a strong advocate of protection first, and your community having this basic financial education to empower them, instead of just being an agent and just being a producer and making your money. What really, what is the problem that you're after, or what has occurred that made you move to an advocate role for your community?
Now, that's a great question. I believe it's a combination of things. I believe it's a combination of uh, being a person of faith, being a family person, understanding that, life is all about the community. I mean, we don't stand alone. Um, Regardless of how strong we think we are today, you could be you could be 180 degrees in the other direction tomorrow. I mean, one accident, one illness, one little germ, and now your world is upside down. Um, you have a nice big fortress, but a tornado comes and lifts your house off of the foundation, and now you are exposed. Fire. There's so many things that that can affect our lives, and in order for us to survive, to thrive, to have some form of consistency with our lives, we need a community. And sometimes people think, well, as long as I'm doing good, so I'm not worrying about anyone else. That doesn't work. So as a man of faith, I know that the word says that people perish for the lack of knowledge. And if I'm not concerned about what's causing people in my community to perish or to die or to suffer, then I'm not much of a man of faith or a person of wisdom. We thrive together and we suffer together. It doesn't matter how much you want to think everything is okay within my little walls. Things don't stay within the walls. And so I didn't see a choice in being a community person or not. I just believe this thing that we all need to be doing, building our communities together.
Well, how does life insurance strengthen a community and not just individual families? Can you touch on that?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you asked that question because I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen and so that we can talk about exactly that. You know, working with seniors in the beginning, retirement is the talk. I mean, everyone, looking forward to retirement and so on and so forth. And it's supposed to be a great time in our lives, but it's also a very vulnerable time in people's lives. It's the time where their energy and their strength and all that to create income and the money, it's not all there like it used to. And we hope that we can just relax and take it easy. But if we don't plan for this properly, we may not get there. And if we get there, it could be in a state of chaos. And so, I've got a brand new bestseller. I'm calling it out, bestseller, coming soon, right? This book is going to be called Life Insurance is Not for Funerals. And so in this book here, this is a table of contents. There's 9 chapters in the book. Chapters like getting rid of the funeral myth or misinformation, and then helping people to understand that the funeral policy may have been the first one that you were able to purchase, or maybe the most common one around you, but that doesn't define life insurance. It's so much more. It's like saying the spare tire on a car is the most important thing on your car. That is crazy. So when you look at chapter 2, talking about what life insurance is really for, and understanding that it is for income replacement and lifestyle protection and wealth transfer and so many other things, you start to understand the value of it. And life insurance is pretty much foundational to all the plans that we're making, and so the chapter 3, protection is first, so we can get it right. So many people want to invest before you protect. Well, that sounds good, but the bottom line is, if you have a commercial painting company and you've got your equipment, and that is great. Now you could plan to invest for the next 2 or 3 years down the road, but you need to work today. And the only way you're going to get that contract with that company is that you have protection today. And so it's all about getting it in order. And then chapter 4 is the upgrade, new information, what's going on today in life insurance. And I say new, but this started back in 1937. And it's still new because most people I talk to don't know anything about what I call life insurance 2.0, which is life insurance with living benefits. In other words, you don't have to die for your program to pay you, right? And we die once, but we can suffer many illnesses along the way. And we need sometimes a good financial support so that we can continue with our lives. And then we talk about the simplicity of it. It may be complex, but it's worth taking the time to get the information and the different programs. I call it the tool shed, and then the math, working it out so you understand how much you really need, and so on and so forth. So it's jam-packed of information that we need to make sure that we can keep our promises and that the plans that we're making can happen anyway, whether we are here or we are laying on our backs because of an illness, or we are not here anymore because of an untimely death. Life insurance is a protection you wrap around your plans to make sure they get done. One thing that I
You
never
make it
wanted to
sound so good. It's a win-win situation. And I'm
absolutely.
definitely excited about your book. Is it going to be an ebook or a paperback? And how soon can we get it?
Well, it's coming out. I mean, it's a matter of days before it'll be out. I'm hoping to get it out within the next 72 hours. But this book, the foreword for the book was written by the CEO of a financial company here in Dallas, Texas, and also I've got an endorsement from a gentleman that he run a healthcare company. His company provided pyramid uh, pyramid what do you call it services, pyramid services for people that are going through the underwriting process for insurance. And he did that for about 28 years, successfully worked with many companies, and he was able to sell his business and go into retirement very comfortably. And then also, I've got some testimonials from people that have used the product. I've got one in particular from an associate of mine that is in a recipient of a 7-figure payout while she's alive. And then I also have a couple of other testimonials from other people, clients of mine, that were able to benefit from the Life Insurance 2.0, the living benefits process. These guys are alive, they're not dead, but their program was able to undergird them while they were going through a critical illness. And so their family was able to continue on and support them and not be stressed with bills or with medical bills or with personal financial mishap. All of that was taken care of because of the life programs. And then
Oh
also,
my goodness, that is an upgrade.
oh yeah, I also have some worksheets in the book that the person can use to start to get their own, put the information to use. This new information and understanding that they get, they can put it to use. They have a place in there that they can take notes. And then, about the author, I just got a little bit about me, but I'm really excited to share some of the names of the people that are helping me to get this word in the community. So I believe it's a #1 bestseller, and I'm excited about what it's going to be doing for our community as we get this degree and this level of knowledge in our community.
Well, I'm certainly in agreement with that, that it will be a #1 seller. I'm curious to know uh what's your vision? What's your expectation? How do you expect communities to respond? How do you want those communities to talk about life insurance differently after reading your book?
Well, I believe the thing about this whole process is there's a lot of information that's really near and dear to people. And I believe people will sometimes receive this information in the quiet and comfort of their home, reading something, listening to what they're reading in their own voice rather than in my voice. I believe it would create a more relaxed environment for a person to absorb this information rather than somebody just trying to sell me something. And when you're in front of someone, you're sharing information with them that's true and that's good, and you have all the right intentions, but they don't know you. So they're always guarded. And so they hear half of what you say, and they're watching you to see what you do in case that's when you're going to slip the sail out on them or whatever the case may be. But I believe in the quiet, in the comfort of people's homes, they're going to be able to take a book like this and really educate themselves on this whole process and realize the value. And so now what we're going to have is, instead of people putting a lot of money, I mean, I have no problem in having a good life and enjoying life, but that stuff goes away so quickly. With one little accident, one incident, one illness, it just vanishes. And we have countless stories of people that suffered a situation like that. So I believe this book is really going to be on many kitchen tables. It's going to be used as a manual so that a person can be educated, but begin to make serious financial decisions and know how to protect these decisions that they're making and be able to really set themselves up for financial success.
Well, for our last question tonight, that was amazing. And when you're having good conversation, you could just go on and on. And you just have such a wealth of knowledge. So I'm really excited about you putting it together in the book where we can have, like you said, in the comfort of our homes. But before you leave us tonight, what is one step that you want to encourage families to take in order to protect their lifestyle?
Get
What can they
educated. Get educated. You must get educated. It's hard to protect or to build or to do anything without the knowledge of the thing. And so, but building is one thing. If you look at a high rise, many of these high rises, they have built in fire hoses and different things like that because they're trying to protect what was built. They have safety clips and pins and braces on the inside in the frame of the building so that it will withstand strong winds or earthquake and different things like that. Building something worthwhile has to go, protection has to go along hand in hand with building something worthwhile. Our lives, our livelihood, the things that we work hard for should not be built as a sandcastle. It needs to be built as something strong and sturdy and have protections. So if you look at the biggest edifice or homes that most of us know, if you look at castles, back in the day, castles were built with a moat around them because protection was first. You know, marauders, someone always wants to take what you have. And today we have good policing and all that, but there's still a lot out there that wants to take what you have. Sickness, disease, accidents, crazy weather, all kinds of stuff out there. So anything worth building, worth having, I believe is worth protecting. So to me, that's like hand in hand.
Well, this has been a great night. I'm just excited about where the impact that we're making in our community. Anytime we get the opportunity to share this information in the community. I'm excited about the vision, and we definitely have to revisit this again, EP, and the next level that we're taking as we move forward. And so, do you want to close it out, or
Well,
we're going to let
absolutely.
the people know where to find you?
Well, yes, I just want to say I'm excited to bring this information. I will be making several announcements online. You can always reach me on OIC 10K Totally Lit. You can leave a message here for me. Like Erica said, my name is John Robinson, and my information will be out there. This book is going to be on Amazon. We're going to put all that information there that you're going to be able to look it up by my name or by the